Hi, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Wise Parents, Wise Kids. We have these conversations periodically to help us all learn how to parent smarter. We're right up against the beginning of the wonderful holiday season. We've got Thanksgiving just around the corner and Christmas and a lot of celebrations during these next several weeks. So I thought that one of our wonderful ways to get ready for this season and to pass on some of the things that are in our hearts to our children is to focus today on the idea of gratitude. And I have two very dear friends of mine who are fellow coaches and who walk with me closely in a lot of things that we do with Fine Tune Families and the Families of the Way ministry. First, I want to welcome, once again, my associate and dear friend, Angela Woodrow, to the call. Hi, Angie.
Hi.
And I also want to introduce and welcome my friend, Ricardo Flores-Clar. If any of you've noticed, there are some photos of Ricardo and myself on the internet in different places on my websites, and that's because he was kind enough to co-host with me when I was recording my Communicating with God and Family series. Welcome, Ricardo.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Very happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. And Angie continues to get calls from somebody, but we're going to silence that. Okay, so let's jump in. And Angie, I know you had something you were bringing in. Let's talk a little bit about gratitude, because in a lot of our other Wise Parents, Wise Kids conversations, we've been talking more about application, concrete ideas. How do you move and put this forward, whatever this concept is? Today, we're talking more about something that's internal to us. What were you going to share about the definition of gratitude and a few things in that area?
Well, the dictionary defines grateful as an adjective. It's a feeling or showing appreciation or kindness. And the dictionary defines gratitude as a noun, the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. And so when you think about that as a parent, what the heck does all that mean? And I like to say it like this. There's an art and a science to practicing the attitude of gratitude. And the art is the intention and the energy and the light. And that's why I'm so excited that Ricardo's on the call, because he's like my attitude of gratitude guru.
He is. Yes.
Thank you. Very kind, Angie. So to me, like Angie says, it's an intention, right? It's an awareness that we have, to be grateful for everything in our lives, whether they're things that, that have the appearance of good or things that have the appearance of not being great. But there's always something in every experience and a reason to be grateful with anything that we face every day.
I love that idea there, Ricardo, too, because if you think about it, there's a lot of good in this world, and there's challenging times for all of us. But often when we reach the end of a particularly challenging time, we can look back and we can say, well, actually, I can see some good in that. I learned this. I grew in this area. I'm a better parent because... And so there's an opportunity for gratitude even in the difficulty.
Absolutely.
And it starts early. I mean, I like to encourage individuals, whether they're parents or just another person bobbing along in the stream of life, that to say thank you. But my challenge this month is to say thank you in a full sentence. I mean, we're in stores all the time. Everyone has their big, huge name tag on it. We can say, thank you, Rachel, for helping me check out today. Or thank you, Martin, for helping me get my order placed in my cart. It's just that one little extra step and making the eye contact and modeling that for our children or for the people around us. I had a conversation earlier today that was a little bit difficult and it was challenging. And I wanted the individual to know that I really appreciated their customer service, and I wanted to be able to reflect that and also let them know that there was still something that they could strengthen, stretch and do better. And the individual reflected back to me and he said, I really appreciate you for being specific and concrete because I want to teach that employee that aspect. And I thought, wow, it was a little bit hard to have that conversation, but at the same time, it really opened up appreciation in a space that you didn't normally expect to find it. And I think if we as parents give our children that opportunity for us to witness to them, not every time is going to be perfect and wonderful, but you can be appreciative in the moment.
And two, thinking about there's really two people involved in something like that. You are brightening the day of whoever you are acknowledging, whoever you are doing something for, whatever your attitude gift of gratitude is. But also it brightens you a bit, doesn't it?
I think so. I think unintentionally. I mean, you don't intentionally say, oh, I'm going to say thank you to this person because it's going to make me feel good. No, that's, you get the reverb of the reverb back or the splash back in when you push the stone into the pond, you get that ripple effect and it comes back to you as well as going out. It's a hard concept for children to understand, and really the only way that they understand it is if you as a parent foster and model that. Now, Ricardo has teenagers, so not every day, right, is a wonderful space. So when you're working with a teenager and you have to gently nudge them, how do you approach helping your children to remember to practice that attitude of gratitude?
I believe what you do is you model it, right? That it's always that, because, you can say something so many times, but if you don't, display that, if you don't behave that way, then you lose credibility. So, for us with our children, so many years ago, maybe I would say 5 years ago, we decided, you know what? We're going to give thanks before a meal. We're going to, and, so whatever your belief system is, we have our prayer that we do before a meal. So we always acknowledge that. We never miss that. And as a matter of fact, actually, as we drive by our parish, because, we're part of a wonderful parish, I always say, thank you, thank you, Lord, for a beautiful parish. And I extend my hand and my daughter high fives me. And it started as something silly. And one time I forgot, and then we were already like half a mile down, and my daughter said, Dad, you didn't say, thank you for our beautiful parish today. I said, I'm so sorry, Carla. I said, I'm so sorry. And so we never miss it. So it's having that, to your point, Angie, that intentional awareness, that spirit of gratitude in everything that we do. And then they follow when they see you model that.
Absolutely.
And that's so beautiful, because I hear you also saying it's a daily habit, right? It's a daily practice. It's something that if you do these things often enough, they just become ingrained in who you are. Your daughter noticed the absence of something that was probably pretty meaningful to her, and that's why she spoke up about it, right, Ricardo?
Absolutely. It's kind of funny because sometimes, like my daughter comes to visit from college, right? And, she's got a boyfriend, very wonderful young man. And they're sitting in the back seat. And as we pass, I always do the same thing, right? And I extend my hand, and all three of them high five me, right? my daughter's boyfriend and my little one as well. So it's a high five fest.
Yes, you've constituted a culture where they suddenly understand. And here's to me the beauty. So whatever parent is listening to this is that magical moment when your children invite their friends into your circle and participate in sharing your family high five or tradition. In our house, it was Friday night is pizza and movies. Dad would come home and make the pizza and do the movie. It took my breath away every time my girls brought their friends, and it was never one. It was always like 5 or 50. It felt like that. But it was wonderful because they felt safe enough and loved what was happening to them enough to share with their friends. And some of their friends had never experienced that before. And so, to your point, Ricardo, when you're saying that modeling and fostering that in your children, you know that the seed is planted when they share it with other people. That's a high compliment to you as a parent when your kids bring their friends in to share in that. Because, kids can be pretty judgmental, but if they feel safe and they want to share that with you, that I think is like an awesome compliment to your parenting. So.
Oh, thank you. And sometimes it's very tempting because you say, well, you do whatever you do with your family, right? You have, and then so if people come into your home and into your space, you continue doing it, right? And then people join in. You don't have to change that just because somebody outside your family is there. So.
Right. And I think that kind of hospitality and modeling is a form of gratitude. Sharing that wonderful warmth and energy and faith and value and whatever your family constitutes is what's important. You wanting to share it with other people is a form of attitude of gratitude. Come, we have things, we feel blessed, we feel full, grateful. I love that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we did from a young age with our kids, because we are Christians and we wanted to help foster this gratitude inside of our kids, was we had a habit of praying daily as a family. And even when they were too little to stay still, we were still praying. And you can encourage kids to say one thing they're thankful for, one thing they're grateful for. And it gets them reflecting and looking inside of themselves and saying, I'm grateful today that I got to play with my best friend outside at recess. Wow, specific, something that's really meant a lot to this young person, and they're sharing it with the family. How beautiful is that?
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I have the privilege of being able to help my young grandchildren put them down when they're staying at my house. And, you follow the routine that the parents have set up. And one night we were going around, and part of their routine is to say one thing that they're thankful for. What did they like most in that day? And the things that they say, I'm just like, God, I wish I could have thought of that. I want to have the mind of a 5-year-old, or the eyes and the ears and the appreciation of a 5-year-old, because the things I identify, I'm like, that was awesome. Why didn't I say thank you about that? So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you remember one thing that one of them shared that you went, wow, for?
Yeah. When the last time I put him to bed was about a week and a half ago, and we were talking about the different things that happened that day. And the 5-year-old said, I'm most thankful for that I got to walk down the street and hold your hand, because we walked down the street to go get some hot chocolate at Starbucks. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
We're talking about Starbucks.
That's you held my hand and we went and got hot chocolate. That was just like one of the, but for her to tease that out, and that, that was just like, oh. So.
And the other thing I hear too, and let's see if I can grab this. It's the idea that we're focusing on some simple things that we're grateful for, right? we're embracing the simple beauty of our lives, of the daily ebb and flow of our lives. That's fantastic on so many levels.
She probably drinks hot chocolate every day. She's a little Northwesterner, you know, she doesn't have coffee yet. But that she appreciated that in that moment, that I got to share that with her, or whatever it was. It was just, you're right. It was just so simple and beautiful. And of course, there's 2 other boys in the family, so they were thankful that they got to puddle splash or whatever. But, you know, each of them were so special and simple. And that really, like with your high five, Ricardo, it's a simple thing, and yet it speaks volumes.
Yes, yes.
So we are trying to really focus on the concept, and what we talked about so far is what is the meaning of gratitude? What are some examples of helping our kids internalize gratefulness, get in touch with that? How simple can some of these gestures be? So now what I want to move on to is the idea of sharing your gratitude out, of giving back, of being of service, because there is no age too young to help our kids say, all right, we feel blessed, we feel fortunate. What can we do to help others? So now let's turn to that and spend a little time talking about that, talking about some specific ideas.
Sure. I mean, for me, I think we get opportunities everywhere to do that, right? You know, one of them is school. At school, they always have the opportunity to sponsor a child or a family. So sign up for that and have them participate in getting, you know, the things that they guide us to get, right, for the family. You know, sometimes they're very specific, you know, girls 7 years old, this size, whatever. And so
this is for families who need certain things, but also maybe for gifts around the holiday season.
Correct. Yes. Or your church, they're always pass the paper bags, you know, for the Thanksgiving dinner. That's always an opportunity to you know, participate in that and get your kids involved in it. That's just a couple of the examples.
One of my favorite things was they have a do-good day. And the idea around that is that they do something around the house, be it a chore or an activity where they raise some money. And they have the money, they've earned it. But the next step is say, fine, with this money, you're going to go and, be a good steward. And you're either going to use it to donate something or go and purchase something. So the 5-year-old grandchild, she likes to do that kind of activity with her brothers, and they go and take the pocket money that they've earned, $5 or $10 or whatever, and they'll go and pick out either like toys or snacks, and they'll donate those to the animal shelter. So they understand that their work and their effort can be shared with other people. So, and if money is an issue, simply have your children clean out their toys, wash them up, clean them up, and get ready to donate. I mean, we're coming up onto that season of receiving.
Yes.
In order to be able to receive, the other half of the equation is to give. And I know a lot of parents focus on making space before new comes in. So if you could just shift it, instead of we're cleaning out our closet, we have an opportunity to share some of our abundance with others. And it can be as simple as that.
And I'm glad you bring that up as an example. I did that with my children as they were growing up, as I was growing as a parent, but as they were growing up, we would do that try to do it every year. And the idea was, choose some things that you no longer feel that you want, or choose some things that you're willing to share with others, people who might be more in need. And that got them, again, looking at and being grateful for the many things they have and saying, I don't need all of this. And I'm more than happy to share it with someone else. So I love that idea. I especially love the idea you mentioned first, Angie, in the first part of what you were talking about there, of the kids earning some money, which they in turn use to give back in some way to serve others. That's fantastic. My kids in high school, there's a an event in downtown San Antonio where a huge number of people come together, they take up donations, and they feed, they have a special Thanksgiving dinner for people who can't usually afford to have their own Thanksgiving dinner. And there's music, and there's food, and there's volunteers all over the place, and there's a lot of people who come in who are very, very grateful for that. And we've gone, and it's heartwarming to be part of it too. Again, getting something back out, even though you're serving somebody else out of it.
Wonderful. I want to share also, this is not something that I've done with my family, but one of my sister has done that I thought it just really inspired me. And, you know, she lives in El Salvador, Central America, kind of very poor country, right? So every Christmas and New Year's, they make like 200 dinners, and they go to every corner of the city almost, and you know, and find people living in the streets. And she's done that with her children since they were, you know, 6, 7 years old. So I know that's, and to this day, you know, they're 20 something. So she's been doing it for 16, 17 years. They still do it every Christmas and New Year's, and the kids have created a beautiful conscience of sharing and of generosity. You know, they're not attached to anything. They just like kind of go with the flow, and they don't value material things, you know, very much, and they had the opportunity to themselves hand the dinners to, you know, just homeless people or anybody they met in the street. So I just thought that was, I'll say she's very courageous, because they went into some areas of town that I just like, I wouldn't have gone, but, you know, they did. So I went with them a couple of times, and it was just an inspiring ministry, I guess, that she does.
As you say, beautiful. What a beautiful example, and courageous.
Yeah.
Courageous. But beautiful that they're giving back. I have a couple of final thoughts, and we're going to have to kind of wrap this up. But one of the things that has come to me over the years is that we have opportunities to demonstrate gratitude to others throughout the year. There's a special emphasis on it over the holidays, but people are still hungry after the new year. People are still hungry in the middle of the summer and other times. So there's an ongoing need to be of service to people in different ways. And then the other thought I had was, as so many times that I mentioned, the more that you invite your kids into deciding what it is you're going to do when you're ready to be of service to others, the more you'll have buy-in from them, and the more enthusiastically they will be involved. There's things that kids can do from a very young age till the time they're ready to move out of the house, but invite them into that conversation. What do y'all want to do this year? How can we be of service, for example, this summer, when the summertime comes up, and all of that. So Ricardo, I wanted to ask you if you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us.
Sure. You know, just what you just said gave me an idea too, because my wife always, you know how even in San Antonio here, no matter what side of town, there's always people in the traffic light in the corner asking, right? So, you know, sometimes you think, you know, oh God, if I give money, what if they don't use it? You know, but, you know, sometimes you do. So my wife actually prepares bags, Ziploc bags with you know, food and, you know, candy and cleaning things, water, you know, a little bottle of water, and then, you know, our children or her, you know, whoever's in the car gives it to them as we stop on the corners. But the one thing that I would like to share is that there's tremendous value in doing a periodic reflection of the things that we're grateful for. So, and this is not something you do only on Thanksgiving. That's a wonderful time right now that we have Thanksgiving coming up, but something you can do, you know, every quarter or every month, and is make a list of 20 things you're grateful about in your life, and have your family, you know, all of us together do that and share that. Make a list, and you think 20 things. How could I come up with? Once you start writing, you start thinking, just like, you know, your grandchild, Angie, you know, the little thing about just walking, you know, holding your hand, and you know, and then you start seeing all these things, and it's really a beautiful thing, and it creates that awareness of really all the good things and the blessings we have in our lives. But we, to the point that Angie made at the beginning, we should be intentional about it, right? And so that's something you can do periodically, something you can do every single day. Is the moment you wake up, just the moment you have consciousness that you're awake and it's a new day, be grateful at that moment for that day, because you know, many people don't get that chance, you know. So
that's a beautiful, beautiful closing idea for us. And Angie, do you have any last thought that you want to share?
Well, like Ricardo said, the gratitude journal, the list. I've seen the chalkboard wall where the family paints the chalkboard paint on the wall and they just list it out and keep it there. Because if it isn't in front of you, you forget it. And if you aren't keeping it in front of you, if those things that aren't important to you, that gratitude, that attitude of gratitude, that practicing of gratefulness, it slips behind you and it's gone. So I think especially now, but not just now, always.
Yes.
Increase your family's attitude of gratitude. That's one of the reasons why I stay in the Fine-Tuned Families community, because you, Janet, and everybody you ask to come and circle around you and support parents just really have the heart and the desire to share with parents how they can fine-tune their family. And it's a daily intentional practice. So you've got this, Mom and Dad. You can do this. And we are so grateful that you are willing to take that step every day and foster and model to your children and for all future generations an attitude of gratitude, not just in November, but 365 days of the year.
yes.
Beautiful, beautiful closing thoughts. Ricardo, thank you for coming on.
Can I share a quick quote? Do we still have time?
Yes.
Okay, quick quote. Yep. This is by Marilisa Fabregat. I don't know who she is, but I just love the quote. It says, gratitude should not be just a reaction to getting what you want, but an all the time gratitude. The kind where you notice the little things and where you constantly look for the good, even in unpleasant situations. Start bringing gratitude to your experiences instead of waiting for a positive experience in order to feel grateful.
Wow.
So I just thought it's kind of a simple but you know, cool way to say, hey, you know, just we can choose with a heart of gratitude to see everything good that is around us.
That is beautiful, and a beautiful way to wrap it up. So thank you again so much, Ricardo. Angie, thank you for coming and being a guest this time, sitting in the guest seat. I hope all of you have a most wonderful holiday season and that you find many ways to be grateful for the many wonderful things in your life. Remember to connect with us at finetunefamilies.com and through social media. You'll find the links to those things on the website. We're getting ready to put up a brand new website, a new and improved website. So go check it out and see what's going on over there. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.